Hello and welcome to another analysis behind the news, where we provide the perspective that you can use to help save American liberty and independence. Last week, thenewamerican.com reported that simulations run by the RAND Corporation found that the U.S. military would lose a war if it went head-to-head with China or Russia. Joe Wolverton wrote, for example, according to the results of RAND's computer games, if the United States deployed its military forces in the Baltic states in a conflict with Moscow, the outcome would be quick and terrible for the United States. Within 48 to 72 hours, Russian forces are able to reach a capital of a Baltic state, he said. According to the Fox News report, RAND Corporation spokesman explained that in another theater, a Chinese invasion of Taiwan, while a massive military gamble for China, would also pose a huge challenge for U.S. forces in the area. The missiles amassed by these two military powers would be turned on the forces of the United States, and the devastation would be nearly complete and certainly debilitating. Debilitating because, according to the simulation, Russia and China would send so many missiles at us that we would not be able to intercept them all. Their solution? Well, in the report, Fox News suggests boosting the military budget nearly $250 billion to be spread out over the next 10 years. The RAND spokesman suggested putting more combat power back into Europe and putting it onto Europe's eastern flank. In other words, let's just grow the U.S. military establishment so we can maintain our un-American and highly irresponsible role as the world's policeman. Now, you may not agree with our assessment of that, but let's think about it for a minute. In a free society, the role of a policeman is to enforce the laws of the governing body of the community. The police are beholden to those they serve. In a society controlled by a totalitarian state, the police carry out the pronouncements of those in charge, regardless of the laws. In either case, the police are tied to a governmental body. With the example of America being the world's policeman, to what government body are we tied to? Is there a layer above our own federal government that we are beholden to? Well, in essence, yes. America and many other developed first world countries, if you will, have gotten into such entangling alliances that governing bodies are created to help resolve disputes, provide direction, and even involve troops into foreign wars. Organizations like the United Nations, the World Trade Organization, the International Criminal Court, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and other world bodies rely on the collective buy-in that its members place into the organization. These organizations would not be able to sustain themselves or their mission if it weren't for this buy-in, as well as the dues that are collected, especially from the United States. Truth be told, that if the U.S. would stop its funding, most, if not all, of these organizations would definitely collapse. But there's also another function to these organizations that may not meet the eye of a casual observer. That function is to use these organizations as stepping stones to a world government. Even the casual observer should be able to see that the United Nations is certainly being fitted for this role. With every entangling alliance, countries shed a slice of their sovereignty. Founder of the John Birch Society, Mr. Robert Welch, predicted this at the founding meeting in 1958. He said that the planners behind the communist conspiracy were going to induce the gradual surrender of American sovereignty piece by piece, step by step, to various international organizations, especially the United Nations. After World War II, the United Nations was assembled to achieve peace, at least according to them, but many wars have occurred during its existence. In fact, its role in the Korean and Vietnam Wars guaranteed that our troops would not be victorious. So as we've asked the question many times over the years, where does the use of U.S. troops as the world's policeman stop? Mr. Wolverton points out in his article that George Washington warned of the military establishment. Washington wrote that overground military establishments are inauspicious to liberty and are to be regarded as particularly hostile to Republican liberty. Now, Washington isn't talking about party politics, but the overall liberty of the constitutional republic. In the same document, Washington wrote, "It is our true policy to steer clear of permanent alliances with any portion of the foreign world. It's these types of permanent alliances, usually under the banner of peace and commerce, that ensnares many nations. They willingly give up some of their sovereignty to an international body, and the end goal of these planners is a new world order under world government. And the military establishment will help build this with more and more wars, sending American troops under the flags of other nations, as well as the United Nations, to shed their blood so that America can be the global cop. Yet, that is not what a free and independent America should be doing. So if you're motivated by the Founding Fathers and want to help protect and restore American liberty and independence, then we invite you to join the John Birch Society. Contact us today at jbs.org to work with others in your area. And please, be sure to like and share this video with others. So until next time, we'll see you then.